Life has a way of teaching us lessons, but more often than not, we learn them too late. We spend our early years chasing things we think will bring us happiness, money, status, approval, only to realize sometimes decades later that we were running in the wrong direction. We wait until we've lost something precious before we appreciate it. We wait until opportunities slip away before we recognize their worth. And in that waiting, we lose time, the most valuable thing we have. One of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that they have all the time in the world. We tell ourselves, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll apologize later, I'll chase my dreams someday. But someday is a dangerous word. It's a thief that steals our dreams and leaves us with regret. The truth is, life doesn't wait. The opportunities you hesitate on today might not be there tomorrow. The people you take for granted now might not always be around. It's easy to get caught up in fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping outside of what is comfortable. But here's the reality. Failure isn't the enemy, it's part of the journey. The most successful people in the world have failed more times than most ever try. And yet we let the fear of falling stop us from taking off. We learn too late that the only true failure is not trying at all. We also learn too late that happiness is never found in the things we once believed mattered most. How many people spend years grinding, sacrificing health, relationships, and passions, only to wake up one day and wonder why they still feel empty? Success without fulfillment is the greatest failure. It is not the big house, a fancy car, or the applause of strangers that brings real joy. It's the moments, the laughter with friends, the love of family, the simple pleasures we often overlook. Too many people wait for a wake-up call, an illness, a loss, a crisis, to finally start living. But why? Wait for life to shake you awake. Why wait until you're looking back with regret, wishing you had been braver, kinder, more present? The time to change is now. The time to take risks, to express love, to chase what sets your soul on fire. That time is now. Every day is a lesson, but it's up to us how soon we learn it. Make the choices today that your future self will thank you for. Don't wait until it's too late to start living the life you were meant to live. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the time you thought you had is gone. The dreams you kept putting off, the words you meant to say, the experiences you promised yourself, all of them are now out of reach. Life has a way of slipping through our fingers while we're busy making excuses. We tell ourselves there will be more time, that tomorrow is guaranteed, that we can wait until we feel ready. But the truth is, time waits for no one. The most heartbreaking regrets don't come from things we failed at, but from the things we never even tried, the opportunity we hesitated on, the love we were too scared to express, the risks we were too afraid to take, all because we thought we had more time. And then one day, we don't. There comes a moment when we look back, and all we see are missed chances and lost moments that we can never get back. No one reaches the end of their life wishing they had worked more hours or played it safer. They wish they had been bolder, loved harder, and truly lived. They wish they had spent less time worrying and more time embracing the unknown. They wish they had made the most of every second instead of assuming there would always be more. Right now, at this very moment, there is something you've been postponing. A goal, a dream, a conversation, a decision, something you know in your heart matters, and yet you wait. You convince yourself that later is a better time. But when is later? When will you finally be ready? The truth is, you won't ever feel fully ready. Life doesn't come with perfect timing. The only time you truly have is now. If there is something you want, go after it. If there is something you need to say, say it. If there is a change you need to make it. Because time is moving forward whether you act or not. The question is, will you look back with pride, knowing you made the most of it, or will you look back with regret, wishing you had realized this sooner? We convince ourselves that we have time. We tell ourselves that we'll start tomorrow, next week, next year, when we feel ready, when things are perfect, when the timing is right. But what we don't realize until it's too late is that hesitation is the greatest thief of opportunity. The moments we delay, the chances we ignore, the dreams we postpone, these are the things that quietly slip away while we're busy waiting. How many times have you told yourself, I'll do it later, but later turns into never? That idea you wanted to pursue, that skill you wanted to learn, that step you wanted to take, it all fades into the background of a life spent hesitating. And the worst part? You don't even notice it happening. You assume the door will always be open, but one day you turn around and realize it has closed. Success doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Opportunities don't come with guarantees that they will still be there when you finally decide to act. Life rewards those who move, those who dare, those who refuse to let fear keep them frozen in place. And yet so many people hold themselves back, paralyzed by overthinking, afraid of failure, afraid of judgment. But the truth is, inaction is the greatest failure of all. Imagine where you could be right now if you had started 6 months ago. Imagine the progress you could have made, the doors you could have opened, the life you could already be living. Now think about where you'll be 6 months from now if you start today. The difference between a life of regret and a life of fulfillment is a single decision to act, to take the leap, to stop waiting for some imaginary perfect time and just go for it. The clock is ticking whether you take action or not. The question is, will you look back and wish you had moved sooner, or will you look forward knowing you seized every opportunity that came your way? The choice is yours, but remember this, time never pauses, and neither should you. Fear is the invisible chain that holds people back from the life they truly want. It whispers doubts, paints worst-case scenarios, and convinces us that staying where we are is safer than stepping into the unknown. It tells us, what if you fail? What if you embarrass yourself? What if you're not good enough? And so we listen, we stay in our comfort zones, watching from the sidelines as opportunities pass us by, as time slips through our fingers, as dreams remain just that, dreams. But what we learn too late is that fear is a liar. It tricks us into believing that risk is dangerous, when in reality the greatest risk is standing still. The people who live with the deepest regrets aren't the ones who failed, but the ones who never even tried. The ones who let fear talk them out of taking the first step. The ones who kept waiting until they felt ready, not realizing that readiness never comes. It's built along the way. Think about it. Every person who has ever achieved something great started exactly where you are. Uncertain, nervous, unsure if they could do it. But the difference between them and those who remain stuck is simple. They acted in spite of fear. They understood that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward even when fear is screaming in their ear. They failed, they stumbled, they made mistakes, but they kept going, and because of that, they turned their dreams into reality. Now imagine what your life would look like if fear was no longer in control. What if instead of asking, what if I fail, you asked, what if I succeed? What if instead of focusing on what could go wrong, you focused on everything that could go right? The moment you stop letting fear dictate your decisions is the moment everything changes. Because the truth is, fear never really goes away, but neither does the pain of regret. One day you'll look back at all the things you were too afraid to do, and you'll wish you had been braver, taken more chances, believed in yourself sooner. So what will it be? A life shaped by fear or a life shaped by boldness? The choice is yours, but remember this, fear will always be there, whispering its doubts. The question is, will you listen, or will you step forward anyway and prove it wrong? We spend so much of our lives chasing things we think will make us happy, money, success, recognition. We convince ourselves that once we achieve a certain goal, buy a certain thing, or reach a certain status, we will finally feel fulfilled. And so we run, we push ourselves harder, work longer hours, sacrifice our passions, our health, and even our relationships, all in the name of success. But what we learned too late is that happiness was never at the finish line. It was always in the journey, in the small moments we ignored while we were too busy looking ahead. How many times have you told yourself, I'll be happy when I get that promotion, when I buy that house, when I have more money? But the problem is, every time you reach one goal, another takes its place. The finish line keeps moving, and real happiness remains just out of reach. You tell yourself you'll slow down and enjoy life later, but when is later? Too many people wake up one day and realize they spent years chasing something that never truly mattered, while the things that did, family, love, health, peace of mind, were neglected along the way. Success, when it comes at the cost of joy, is not success at all. You can have all the money in the world, all the accolades and accomplishments, but if you're not happy, what was it all for? No one looks back at their life and wishes they had spent more time in the office. They wish they had laughed more, loved more, traveled more, lived more. They wish they had been more present instead of constantly chasing the next big thing. Happiness is not something you find one day, it's something you create every day. It's in the way you appreciate the simple things, the way you cherish the people around you, the way you find joy in the ordinary. If you are always chasing, always waiting for one more thing to make you happy, you will never truly be satisfied. But if you learn to embrace where you are now, to find gratitude in the present, to stop delaying joy, you will realize that happiness was never missing. It was always there, waiting for you to notice. We spend years believing that success is the ultimate goal. We push ourselves to work harder, achieve more, reach higher, because we think that once we get there, once we have the title, the wealth, the recognition, we will finally feel complete. We sacrifice sleep, relationships, health, and happiness in the process, thinking it will all be worth it in the end. But what we learn too late is that success without fulfillment is the greatest failure of all. Imagine climbing a ladder your entire life, only to realize at the top that it was leaning against the wrong wall. That is the painful reality for so many people who have spent their best years chasing something that, in the end, leaves them empty. They reached their goals, but they lost themselves along the way. They have the money, but no peace of mind. They have the status, but no real connections. They have everything they thought they wanted, yet they feel like something's missing. The truth is, success means nothing if it doesn't bring you joy. It is not measured by your bank account or your job title. It is measured by how deeply you live, how much you love, and how many lives you touch along the way. We see people who have everything the world defines as success, yet feel miserable inside. Why? Because they spent their lives chasing validation instead of fulfillment. They worked for applause instead of purpose. They achieved their dreams, but never stopped to ask if those dreams were truly their own. Fulfillment comes not from what you achieve, but from who you become in the process. It comes from doing work that excites you, from surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, from creating a life that aligns with your values. It comes from knowing that what you do matters, not just to the world, but to your own soul. If you reach the top but feel nothing inside, was the climb worth it? Success is only meaningful when it is built on a foundation of passion, purpose, and personal fulfillment. The time to redefine what success means to you is now, before you wake up one day and realize you climbed the wrong mountain. As she sat watching the world go by, something caught her eye. It wasn't so much its color or shape, but the way it was moving. She squinted to see if she could better understand what it was and where it was going, but it didn't help. As she continued to stare into the distance, she didn't understand why this uneasiness was building inside her body. If we live our lives believing that the people we love and the things we cherish will always be there, we assume there will be more time to say I love you, to express gratitude, to appreciate the small moments. But what we learn too late is that nothing in life is guaranteed. The people we take for granted today may not be here tomorrow. The moments we overlook now may be the ones we later wish we could relive just once more. We rush through our days caught up in routines, chasing goals, constantly thinking ahead to the next task, the next achievement. We tell ourselves we'll spend more time with family next weekend. We'll call that old friend tomorrow. We'll express our feelings someday. But someday is an illusion. Too many people only realize the importance of gratitude when it's too late, when the person they loved is gone, when the opportunity has passed, when the time that once felt abundant has run out. Think about the last time you truly paused to appreciate what you have. When was the last time you looked at someone and truly saw them? When was the last time you felt gratitude, not just in passing, but deep in your soul? It's easy to assume that life will always give us more chances, more time, more opportunities to appreciate what matters. But life is unpredictable, and regret is the heaviest burden to carry. The good news is gratitude is a choice, a powerful shift in perspective that can change everything. When you start living with gratitude, you stop waiting for big things to make you happy and start finding joy in the small, everyday moments. You realize that love, laughter, and connection are worth more than any material success. You stop taking people for granted and start showing them right now how much they mean to you. You don't need a wake-up call to start appreciating your life. You don't need loss to teach you what's valuable. You have the ability right now to cherish what you have while you still have it. Because the only thing worse than losing something precious is realizing too late that you never truly appreciated it when you had the chance. Too many people wait for life to shake them awake before they start truly living. They wait for a crisis, a loss, a moment of devastation to finally realize what matters. It takes a health scare to appreciate their body, a broken relationship to understand the value of love, a missed opportunity to recognize the importance of taking action, and by the time they learn the lesson, they look back with regret, wondering why they didn't see it sooner. We walk through life as if we have all the time in the world, as if second chances are guaranteed, as if tomorrow is promised. We assume there will always be more time to chase our dreams, to fix what's broken, to tell people how much they mean to us. But then one day life throws us an unexpected challenge, and suddenly we see everything with new eyes. We realize how much time we wasted worrying about things that never really mattered. We recognize how many moments we let slip away, thinking we could get them back later. Why do we wait for pain to teach us what we should already know? Why do we need loss to remind us to cherish what we have? We don't have to wait for a wake-up call to start living intentionally. You don't have to go through tragedy to understand the value of time, love, and purpose. Every single day is an opportunity to live fully, to make bold decisions, to express love, to take action on what truly matters, but only if we choose to see it that way. Right now, there's something in your life that you've been postponing, an important conversation, a dream you keep pushing aside, a change you know you need to make. You keep telling yourself someday, but what if someday never comes? What if today is your only chance? The truth is, life has already given you a wake-up call. It's happening in this very moment. The question is, will you listen now or will you wait until it's too late? We spend so much of our lives trapped in the past or worrying about the future that we forget the only place life is actually happening right now. We replay old mistakes, hold on to past hurts, and dwell on regrets that can't be changed, or we do the opposite. We obsess over the future, waiting for a better time, a perfect moment, a day when everything will finally fall into place. But what we learn too late is that while we are stuck in yesterday or chasing tomorrow, we are missing today. Think about it. How many times have you been physically present in a moment but mentally somewhere else? Your body is there, but your mind is lost in thoughts about what could have been or what might be. You sit with family, but your mind is on work. You go for a walk, but you're scrolling through your phone. You experience beautiful moments, but instead of feeling them, you're capturing them for social media. And then one day you look back and realize you were never fully there. Life is not happening in the past, you keep revisiting. It's not happening in the future, you keep chasing. It is happening right now. In the laughter of a loved one, in the warmth of the sun on your skin, in the quiet moments that seem small but are actually everything. If you are always waiting for the perfect time to be happy, to be at peace, to start living, you will spend your whole life waiting. Because happiness is not a destination, peace is not a future event. The only time you have is now, and if you don't learn to embrace it, you will spend your life missing the very thing you're searching for. Imagine looking back at your life and realizing that the moments you rushed through were the ones that mattered most. Imagine wishing you had been more present for the simple things, the conversations, the hugs, the sunsets, the little joys you took for granted. Don't let that happen. Start noticing the beauty in the ordinary. Start being where you are, fully and completely, because one day you will either look back with gratitude, knowing you truly lived, or with regret, wishing you had realized sooner that now was always the only time that truly mattered. We live in a world that constantly tells us to fit in, to follow the path that others have set, to play it safe. From a young age, we are taught to seek approval, to chase validation, to measure our worth by how well we meet expectations that were never truly ours to begin with. We mold ourselves to fit into boxes that were never meant for us, suppressing our true desires, silencing our real voices, and ignoring the dreams that call out to us. But what we learn too late is that the greatest tragedy in life is not failing, it's living a life that isn't truly your own. How many people wake up every day feeling trapped in a version of life they never really chose? They work jobs they don't love, pursue goals that don't excite them, and follow routines that drain them. They do what they should do instead of what they want to do. And then years pass, they look back and wonder, what if I had followed my own path? What if I had dared to be different? What if I had chosen myself instead of choosing to please everyone else? The world will always try to shape you into something you're not. It will tell you to follow the crowd, to play by the rules, to seek safety over passion. But true fulfillment only comes when you have the courage to break free. When you stop living for approval and start living for yourself. When you choose authenticity over acceptance, passion over predictability, and purpose over fear. At the end of it all, life will not ask you how perfectly you followed the rules, how many people approved of your choices, or how safe you played it. Life will ask you one thing: did you truly live? Not exist, not survive, live. Did you take risks? Did you follow your heart? Did you chase dreams that set your soul on fire? Did you love fully? Did you appreciate what you had while you had it? Or did you let fear, doubt, and hesitation steal your years away? We often learn too late that time doesn't wait for us to be ready. It doesn't pause until we feel brave enough, confident enough, certain enough. It moves forward whether we seize the moment or let it slip by. And one day we wake up and realize that the things we were too afraid to do, the words we were too hesitant to say, the dreams we kept putting off, they have all faded into the past, beyond our reach. The saddest words in any language are "I wish I had," and yet too many people come to the end of their journey burdened with those very regrets. But here's the truth. Right now, in this very moment, you have the choice. You can continue waiting, hesitating, overthinking, or you can decide right here, right now, that you will not let life pass you by, that you will not wait for some imaginary perfect time that will never come, that you will take action, that you will live fully, love deeply, and be fearlessly yourself. There will never be a better time than this moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, not someday. This is it. The life you want, the happiness you seek, the person you dream of becoming. It all starts with one decision, a decision to stop learning life's lessons too late and start living them now. Because when the final chapter of your story is written, Let it not be one of regrets, of mischances, of a life half lived. Let it be one of courage, passion, and purpose. Let it be a story worth telling, a story of someone who truly lived